to share and what we're doing. What we are, again, we're from LifeBridge Health, which is Northwest Sinai Hospital, Levendale, Grace Medical, and Curl Hospital as well. Hey, how are you? This way? This way? This way. Oh, right here. I forgot. Yes, and welcome to the people who are on Zoom as well. Thank you all for being here. I had an opportunity to write a program which is called the Connection Program. And the Connection Program is the Faith Plus Health working together for improved health for here in this community, for all the LifeBridge campuses. But we wanted to do the pilot here in Randallstown, and we're focusing on diabetes because the numbers are extremely high with diabetes in this area. And so we wanted to work on that and hypertension as well. And so what we have here is, I'm not sure if everybody received these documents, so we can pass these out. And for those who did receive them, let's update them because I put this, thank you, because I put I put the schedule on the back of it for what we will follow. So that wasn't a good moderator. May I have one? But I updated it though. Oh, you updated it? If everybody can get one. On the back we have the schedule, just look quickly. Of course, November the 4th and the 11th, we was at New Antioch. The 16th and 25th, we'll be here at Good Shepherd, and then we alternate back to New Antioch for 2 weeks, and then the 16th will be the final week. When you look at the schedule on the back, with the day being the 18th, topic of discussion will be exercise and health testing. My colleagues are here who work with me in the same office of community health and wellness, and we're doing health testing for those who did not do it. And health testing includes glucose, blood pressure, and cholesterol checks, and then you'll be able to get the results on the spot in individualized counseling. We ask you to do that for those who it's their first time being here, so we can look at the results at the end of the program or when you go into your doctor for your testing. I just want to say that the Connection Program is a free, comprehensive LifeBridge Health chronic disease prevention and management program that educates faith communities and beyond about tools and strategies to improve their health and well-being. So that's what we are doing. This is a pilot program, and it's given us an opportunity to develop this and to bring this to our community. And we wanted to share this. Also, on last week, my colleague, Ms. Danielle, talked about diabetes. And we have the handouts for last week that we will share with everybody, which gives details about diabetes. But for tonight, Devin Hopkins will lead us, Mr. Devin will lead us in our talk about exercise and the importance of keep moving. So we'll hear from Devin.
So how was everyone doing today? So I am here, my name is Devin Hopkins. I'm a community health educator with LifeBridge Health, Office of Community Health and Wellness. Is everyone able to hear me okay? Mm-hmm. Oh, good. So is everyone able to hear me? Thank you. So what are we here today? We're here to talk about exercise, right? So with this talk, I find that you learn a little bit more when you're having a conversation. And the conversation is not just me talking to you, right? I've never seen a conversation where it's just one person talking. That's a lecture. Right. A conversation is us talking back and forth. So if you have a question, raise your hand. If you think of something, say it out, and we're going to get rolling through it, right? So let's open it up. When you think of exercise, what is exercise to you? And again, I'm not looking for a right or wrong answer. There's no right, wrong answers. When you think of exercise, what is exercise to you? Yeah. Lifestyle. Yeah. Anything else? Is lifestyle, is getting your heart rate up. Anything?
Move your body.
Moving your body. And that's where I was going. Exercise is moving your body. So when you think of exercise, I don't want you all to think that I got to go put on my sweatpants. I got to go put on this certain things to do exercise with. It may not be as comfortable, but you can't exercise in jeans. You can't exercise in sweatpants. You can't exercise in shorts. There's no such thing as perfect clothes that you need to do to exercise, right? And I'm just saying all of these things to try to prevent barriers to exercise. Exercise doesn't have to look like I'm going to put on my sweatpants and my sweatshirt and I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to do 3 sets of 10 on the squat, then I'm going to do 3 sets of 10 on the bench press. No, exercise can be built into your day. So if I tell us all for this class today, instead of sitting here on these chairs, our class is going to be, we're going to talk and also jog to Ricestown Plaza and back.
Oh, Jesus.
We had a lecture and a talk, but we also had some exercise built into it, right? So exercise can actually be built into your day as well, right? So with that, I know it's getting a little colder outside. The weather may change. You know, around here in Maryland, it can be 60 degrees one day, then the next day it's 20 degrees and snowing, right? So if you got to get outside, say if tomorrow we get 6 feet of snow and you got to get outside and shovel that snow, you're probably going to get back in the house and be like, I exercised a little bit, right? So just with this, just trying to break down that idea that exercise is not just one thing. Exercise can be built completely into your day. Exercise can be completely understood from a different way. And with that, how does exercise connect to diabetes? If we're looking at exercise in a way to better improve the status of our diabetes, we will want to look at anaerobic exercise for intents and purposes of this aerobic exercise. So you're going to hear me talk about 2 different forms of exercise: anaerobic and aerobic. Cool way to say without oxygen and with oxygen. So the aerobic exercise is with oxygen. Anaerobic exercise is without oxygen. Examples of anaerobic exercise are quick, fast bursts of energy. So that pretty much breaks down of how much of the blood sugar, you know, when you talk about diabetes, we hear that cool word blood sugar, right? How is your body using the systems that's dealing with your blood sugar? When you're doing anaerobic exercises, you're not using much of your blood sugar. You're already using something, the sugar inside of your muscles, called muscle glycogen. So when you exercise, you're going to be using sugar every single time you move a muscle. So when you eat food, we eat carbohydrates, right? Carbohydrates get broken down into glucose. And then glucose goes through our blood, and that's how we get blood sugar levels. And then we take that glucose with something called insulin, and then insulin pulls that blood glucose into our muscles to be used. And then when it's in our muscles, it's called muscle glycogen. Glycogen is just a cool way to say muscle glucose, muscle sugar. And that's what we use to exercise, right? So every time your heart beats, every time your eye twitches, every time you lift up your arms, you lift up your legs, you are using sugar. So that's why exercise is important when dealing with glucose, because you increase your insulin sensitivity. So if anaerobic exercise, you're not using oxygen, that means you're sprinting, you're stopping. You're sprinting, you're stopping. You're trying to lift 400 pounds one time. Usually max effort under about 90 seconds of exercise is anaerobic. Aerobic exercise is what we want to look at when we're talking about how does that better improve our levels when it comes to diabetes. So that's doing exercise that's sustained over 90 seconds at a time. You notice I said 90 seconds. That doesn't say you got to go for a 3-mile run to be aerobic exercising, right? You can work out pretty hard in 90 seconds. Again, as we talked about, I made a joke, oh yeah, let's run to Ricestown Plaza and back. That's going to take us a little longer than 90 seconds. But if I say the first one that runs the shoppers and gets back, I'm going to give you $1 million. We noticed that. Now we're really rolling, right? Some of us might get across, if there's no traffic and everything, perfect weather, some of us might get across the street and back in 90 seconds, right? But again, we're exercising. We're using our bodies. It's really just about oxygen levels that's being used inside of our bodies. And we see that the body is using oxygen and actually starting to pull in that blood glucose into our muscles above that 90-second range as we get into that aerobic exercise. So that's why when we are exercising, we're actually teaching our body to increase insulin sensitivity and bring that blood glucose into our muscles so that we can use it. So that's really what it is while we want to exercise. So the type of exercise that we're going to do matters when we are talking about diabetes. Again, that's aerobic exercise. That is exercise sustained longer than 90 seconds. And when we think about it, usually I know I gave an example of running we're using an example where we're running hard for a long time and then coming back. But when we really think of aerobic exercise, that's I'm going to get on the bike for 30 minutes. I'm going to go jog. I'm going to go run. I'm going to go swim. But it has to be sustained. And then you'll hear people in the gym talk about HIIT, high intensity interval training. Yes, it's done in intervals, but the rest level is low and the exercise portions are long. Your body doesn't really get time to go back down. It's about how long you are exercising, how many times you're doing this, how you are moving your body at a constant rate or continuously for a certain amount of time. That's really the key that I want you to think about when you are thinking about exercise in connection to diabetes. Now, don't get me wrong. Exercise just across the board is good. If you are thinking about, oh, I want to do exercise is better for diabetes, but I haven't exercised in a while, I don't know what to do. Let me just tell you, just start exercising. That's really where we need to start. Let's just start exercising. Let's just start moving. And again, movement is not, let me go to the gym, let me go get a personal trainer, let me get this high gym membership to do these things. No, exercise can be as simple as, I got a flight of steps in my house, and I'm gonna run up and down the steps for 30 minutes at a time. When I was a little kid, I got in trouble with my grandmother for doing that over and over again, right? But now I talk to my grandmother, let's actually walk up and down the steps because that's a form of exercise. Or if you say, okay, I'm tired, I'm not able to do that. When you're sitting down at night watching the news, lifting your legs up, standing up and down out of that chair, forms of exercise. Notice how we're breaking it down. The more no's you give me, the more answers I can give you. You can exercise. You can do these things. A lot of times it just comes down to, do we want to do it? That's realistically a lot of times what it comes down to. Do we want to do it? And not necessarily are we able to do it? And if we have inabilities to do some of these things, what do we need to change? How can we move our body in certain ways so that we can start doing these things, right? So again, you can sit in a chair, sit up and down in that chair 100 times. You're exercising. I mean, what, Sundays, right? We go to church. I grew up in the church. I know about the after-church nap that we all have. Why is that? You get a little tired because you're coming to church, praise the Lord, have a good time, sweating. It does not feel like it, but that's a form of exercising. You see where I'm going with this? We can incorporate exercise in a lot of ways, in a whole lot of ways that we don't even think about. You know, they say, oh, I'm going to park further from the, if I'm going to the grocery store, I'm going to park in the back and I'm going to walk into the grocery store, right? Why not when we go in the grocery store, why don't walk up and down every single aisle, then go to the cash register, then walk all the way back? Again, adding in exercise. You always hear, oh, let me take the steps instead of using the elevator. We can do that, but sometimes we also got to be realistic with ourselves. Sometimes, if I'm going to work and the office is on the 16th floor, can I realistically walk up 16 flights of steps, get to work, and actually be usable as well? So that's also about think about that when we are exercising. But again, trying to bring it back to diabetes. When we are exercising, when dealing with our diabetes, we want to be moving. We want to be doing things that's trying to help our blood sugar be regulated, and that's that aerobic exercise. That's movement, using oxygen. Think about it. If you got to breathe a lot while you're doing it, you're probably in an aerobic exercise state. If it's going to make you feel like I'm winded, I'm a little tired, I'm hard of breath because I did something for a while, that's the aerobic exercise if we really just want to break it down into examples of that. So again, if you want to get on a stationary bike and do it, you want to get on a bike going outside, it's raining right now. I don't think you want to go outside too much. But again, a lot of these things, and I don't want people to think that exercise only has to be one way. You all can do this. You all can add it in. You all can really find some ways that you can move. Or, and I know I said a lot, exercise isn't just going to the gym and doing all these things. That's not saying don't go to the gym and do all these things. Still, you can still go to the gym. I know a lot of gym. I think at a gym, you can probably find some ways to exercise at a gym, right? So definitely still do these things. I'm just trying to break down these barriers and things like that. But then when we're also exercising, how do we eat when we exercise as well? So understand that when we are eating, we also don't want to be, we want to eat foods that can help better our exercise as well, but we also don't want to get ourselves in trouble. You'll hear people before they exercise or run a marathon, right? You'll hear, oh, I'm going to carb load. I'm going to eat a bowl of pasta before that because I want to get a whole bunch of carbs into ourselves, right? But if we're thinking about diabetes, is carb loading the best thing? Are we going to try to just shoot up our blood sugar because we know we're about to go run and exercise for it? May not be the best idea, right? So also when we're eating to fuel our exercise, we don't want to get ourselves into trouble with that. So for time frame when it does come to exercise, 2 hours to 90 minutes is usually a good time frame when thinking of getting food into your body because it allows it to fully break down and fully process. Again, get that blood sugar level so they aren't spiked when you exercise. Since we are talking about diabetes, we want to try to avoid fasted exercising as well. Fasted meaning I ain't eating in a while, right? Why is that? Because you exercise, you already don't have food inside of your body, you start getting into levels of low blood sugar. Low blood sugar can cause other health complications. Next thing you know, you're outside and you're passed out because your blood sugar at 40. We want to avoid these things, right? So again, we have to be smart about these things, knowing that we are dealing with certain health complications, but again, we can do it. So again, 90 minutes to 2 hours, allow our food to digest so that we can actually get out here and fuel our bodies for the exercise that we're going to do. And also, if we're fueling our bodies for the exercise that we're going to do, understand that if you're about to go run a marathon, you probably don't just want to have an apple inside of you, right? Because you're probably going to burn that apple off really quickly, and now you run into another idea of, oh, maybe my blood sugar a little low because I didn't eat enough. So eating enough for your exercise, trying to not eat too much for your exercise as well, and then eating post-exercise is another thing. Trying to replenish what you lost from exercising about 1 hour to 90 minutes. So around that 90 minutes before, 90 minutes after is when you should be eating when talking about exercise as well. Because again, you want to get your blood sugar levels back up to a certain point. But we're not trying to spike our blood sugar. I'm not saying because you're about to go exercise, have a piece of cake before you exercise. And then once your blood sugar get down, all right, I'm going to have a piece of cake to replenish all the blood sugar that I lost. Nope. We exercise to help our bodies get better insulin sensitivity. We don't exercise so that we can eat what we want because our insulin getting better now. No, that's not why we're doing it. We exercising to get our body's insulin more sensitive, better at pulling that blood sugar back into our muscles so that we can use it. That's really what it's all about. Pulling that blood sugar back into our muscles. And the way that we can do that is, again, by eating right, dieting, that's what it is, and the exercises that we do. So what type of exercises are we going to be looking to do to have a better relationship with diabetes if we have it, or if we are pre-diabetic? What type of exercise? Aerobic exercise. And what does aerobic exercise mean?
Expending more oxygen.
With oxygen. And remember, the opposite of that is anaerobic. And I ain't saying anaerobic exercise is bad. Me, myself, I was a sprinter. I ran track. You can kind of break down events into aerobic and anaerobic exercises. The 100, that's an anaerobic exercise. The 200, anaerobic. 400, anaerobic. Remember, you're going one time around the track. If it's under 60 seconds, the 800, they kind of crazy. We don't know what they're doing. The people that's running a mile, they're going to run the track 4 times. Hasn't happened yet. I don't think nobody running a mile in under 2 minutes, right? So these people are doing anaerobic exercise. I mean, they're doing aerobic exercise, right? The people that's long jumping, they just running down maybe, 100 feet and then jumping 1 time. They not aerobic exercise. So if we think about it, something as simple as that, how long am I running for? How often am I running? And again, when we're doing this, if you're going out and running a mile, you're not going out and sprinting. I don't know why they can sprint a mile fully flat out. You might not make it too far, right? You got to slowly pace yourself, But the better that you pace yourself, the further that you can go for these things, right? So the further you go, probably got to go a little slower. You all know this. You all know how to run. You've done it at least once. You've been tired at least one time in your life, right? So you know about these things. And again, with exercise, with food, with a lot of these things, I find that a lot of people know what to do. It's just, are we making up the decision that we are going to do it? And that's a whole nother class to talk about, but you all know here that exercise is good. You know that if I'm going to exercise, I probably shouldn't go to McDonald's after I exercise, because that might not be the best option. Double cheeseburger is delicious, right? But just because it's delicious does not mean that it's necessarily good for you, right? So we got to be honest with ourselves. Why are we doing this? What are we doing it for? And how are we going to do it right? We know why we exercising. I mean, a little bit about myself in the past. I used to be a personal trainer at Under Armour, right? Our first thing we would say is, why are people coming in? We said about 70% of people coming in to exercise because they want to look better. And if that's your reason for exercising, because you want to look better, that's okay. Then we said about the other 20% are coming in because they want to feel better. That's your reason for exercising. That's okay too. Then we have about 10% is because they want to perform better. So think of your athletes and things like that. That's your reason. That's okay. Then we got the 1% of, I don't know, maybe my doctor told me that I need to. So why not? Whatever your reason is valid, your reason is okay. We just want to see you start moving. So then we get into that how. How are we moving? We're moving aerobically, but we're also moving in the way that is good for our body as well. Again, I'm not telling you to go out here and sign up for the New York Marathon next year and expect you to do it. No, I'm just telling you, start moving. And if your start moving means I am walking from my front door to my back door twice and then sitting down for 20 minutes and doing it again, that is 100% okay. If your start moving is, maybe I can sign up for the New York Marathon and actually complete it, that is okay too. But start doing it. Nobody can move your body for you. If I made the magic pill that I could give you and it feeds you exercise, how many people around the world would be signing up to buy that thing, right? Everybody. But that habit hasn't been invented yet, so we have to do the work ourselves, right? So, give me, now I think about it, what are some examples of aerobic exercises that you can think of? Walking. Great one. Anything else? Dancing, yes. Jogging, yes. Yes, swimming, water aerobics, all forms. You see how these are all jumping jacks, all these things. Now something that we got to think about also, gardening. Like I said, it's a little cold outside, right? But anybody ever here planted a full garden? You got to pick up bags of mulch. You got to dig in the dirt. And I ain't talking about just gardening of, oh, I'm snipping some petunias here and there. I'm talking about you actually laying out a garden bed, right? Think about it, a farmer. You don't see a lot of farmers having to go to the gym because exercise is built into that work. Flipping bales of hay, moving animals, running around on the range or whatever it is, right? That's still exercising. Construction workers. You got to get that pile of bricks from here over to build something over there. Unless you got a machine to do it, you got to physically pick them up and move them yourself. Forms of exercising. So again, I know we know all the traditional, the swimming, the running, the jogging, but how can you incorporate exercise into your lifestyle? And I know it's a little more challenging because everything now you need to get in the car, sit down, drive 30 minutes, go look at this guy talk about exercising while we're just sitting here and exercising, right? But does that mean that we can't exercise now? No. We can actually start off now. So again, if you all wouldn't mind, we can do a slight, simple exercise, and you won't even realize that you're actually doing it, believe it or not, right? So I want us all give us space around ourselves, give us space around our chairs. We're all sitting in our chairs, right? And I want you to do something very simple for me. I want you all just to simply stand up. Easy, right? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So after we all stand up, I want us to find ourselves doing something also very simple. We're going to find this chair, and we're just going to sit down. Guess what we just did? We did a squat. We did a basic form of a squat. Now this time when we stand up, we're going to try to do it as best as we possibly can. This time, if you do not have to, but if you need the assistance and you do not have the mobility, please feel free. But this time when you stand up, I don't want to see y'all putting your hands on your knees and rocking forward. Don't use the table as leverage. I just want us to see us using our bodies just to stand up, stand up, stand up. And actually, believe it or not, when you're standing and squatting, heels make things a lot easier.
I wear them all the time.
Now again, we're going to sit down. Now this time when we do it, you may not notice that you do it. Some of the guys would kind of a little easier because they're used to sitting, they call it gap leg man spreading, right? But some of the ladies may find themselves when they stand up, want to keep ourselves as dainty, ladylike as possible, right? Demure as possible, right? But when we're doing this, this may tend to have our knees cave in when we stand up. This is something that we want to avoid. We do not want our knees to cave in. Now, I ain't saying when y'all stand up, y'all should be gap-legged and wide-legged. No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is when you stand, try to avoid having your knees cave in because there's a lot of anatomical things that go along with that. Best thing I can explain it is, we all hear about ACL tears in football, basketball, and sports. A lot of times you'll see non-contact ones. That happens because your ACL is made to not let your lower leg turn around when your femur is not in that same direction. Non-contact ACL tears happen because something called valgus knee dive. That's a cool way to say your knee going in this way. If I do this hard enough right now and I can stand like this, I can literally tear my own ACL. So, and I'm not saying if you squat and stand up like this, you're going to tear your ACL. What I am saying is that you're putting your body in a learned compromised position that can lead to long-term health incorrect positions. So that's why we can just work on it right now. So this time when we stand up, let's have our knees going just a little out or just our knees not coming in. Good, see that's a little bit easier. Right now we find ourselves in a lot more stable position in these things. And then we're sitting down. And we're actually going to we're going to stand up and sit down one more time. I promise, only one more time. So this time when we stand up, we're going to be standing up. We're not going to put our hands on our knees. We're not going to be rocking forward. We're going to actually have our knees coming out. But this time when we stand up, we're going to stand up. I don't just want us just to plop down into the chair. Some of us may have the habit when we sit down, we're going to plop down into the chair, right? Let's avoid doing that. This time when we sit down, let's control our bodies when we sit down. Let's use our quads. Let's use our hips. And when we actually sit down, what is the first place that we should be moving? What is the first thing on our body that should be moving? Believe it or not, it's not your knees. It should be your hips. The first thing you should do is sit back and down. And I can show you here that the first thing that I do when I sit is bend my knees. Look where I go. In an unstable position, I can fall. But if I move my hips back and then sit down, I can get here, right? Learned position. So same thing this time when we squat, and we're going to get a little exercise into it, right? This time when we squat, I want us to wait 5 seconds till we get down to the bottom. So what does that look like? It looks like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're here. So why did I want us to do that? Remember I said we're not sitting down and plopping, right? Now if we control our body, we use our quads, we use our hamstrings, we use our hips. We're finding ourselves actually moving in a proper way. And again, we're getting in movement. We're getting in exercise. What we just did, 4 squats, 5 squats. Something that you ain't even got to think about, nice and easy. Again, easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? It's something that we all can do. We may find ourselves slower to get up or slower to get down. We may find that we need to work on some things. We may find that, my knees do go in when I sit down. How can I fix that? or I'm leaning to one side and all these things. Yes, question.
Backwards, when she was a nurse, and she said you should go backwards when you going upstairs. Go backwards.
What you mean? You should
Step backwards.
you should walk up the steps backwards or walk down the steps backwards?
She said go step back.
Go down the steps backwards? I mean, that can go down the step backwards because going up the steps, I'm going down the steps, going forward. If you do fall and slip and things like that, I can understand that. But if you're going down the steps backwards, you can brace yourself. If you do fall, you do have the leverage of those arms. But for general population, if you can walk down steps, you can walk down steps normally. But that's for really if an individual is having issues with certain balance, or they are high fall hazard, or there's a high trip hazard in certain situations.
I see people when you walk in the track, and I see them walking backwards sometimes.
So people will walk backwards on the track because it's great on the hamstrings. So when we walk, we're bipedal animals. We walk with both of our legs, and we use our quad dominant walking. So when we walk, we put one leg out forward, and we push off of that leg, right? When you're pushing with your quads. So if you do that backwards, you're pushing with your hamstrings. So it's just good for the hamstrings to walk backwards. And then when you're walking around the track, some people think that if I walk in lane 8, I'm going further. I'm sorry, it's all 400 meters around the track. Don't matter if you're walking in lane 1 or if you're walking in lane 8. I mean, technically, if you start in lane 8 from lane 1, you probably go 410 meters on that first lap. But ultimately, you're still only doing 400 meters, so let's all get in lane 1 and walk the same distance. But if that is that's that trick to make you get out there and walk a little further, to make it work for you, please do it. Please. Get out there and walk. Again, it's raining, it's a little cold, maybe not now, but when the weather does get a little better, and we're in Maryland, it's the middle of November, it might not get better for a little while. But the snow may be coming. You can get that shovel out. You can dig that shovel in that snow and flip it over. Or you can get that rake. Maybe you got a son like Reverend Dominic, and he can go out there and tell his son, oh, go get the leaves. Or he can say, oh, I'll help you. Let me bag up leaves with you and start raking with you, right? Bonding time you can do with some people, or you may not pay somebody to do it. Yes, and I'm making jokes in these things, but if we're actually thinking about it, work is work. The body doesn't know the difference between lifting up a 5-pound dumbbell, or if you work at a grocery store and you're stocking shelves and you're lifting 5-pound cans of tomatoes. Body don't know the difference of it. Body don't care the difference. Body just know that work is work. So get in your work and move as efficiently as possible. And again, when we're talking about bringing it back to diabetes prevention, we want to make sure that exercise is continuous and constant, so that we can get in that aerobic exercise so that we can get better health outcomes. So with that, questions? Anyone have questions? Anyone have comments? Yes?
Oh, yeah, I was just thinking, exercise is great, but how frequently should you or do you have guidelines?
Yes, so the ACSM, the American College of Sports Medicine, recommends 30 minutes of exercise 3 times a week, so 90 minutes, or 75 minutes a week of vigorous exercise. And by vigorous, that means bringing back the running, because it's something that we can all think about, right? Moderate exercise is if you're going on a jog or a walk, you can do it at a conversation. Vigorous is if I'm doing this, I can't talk. I'm moving. So that's the difference between the two. So 90 minutes exercise of moderate exercise, 75 minutes of vigorous exercise. Whichever one you can get in, and you can combine the two. Yes, ma'am.
What kind of exercise, aerobic exercise, would you recommend for someone who has osteoarthritis?
So osteoarthritis, for preventing osteoarthritis,
No, you already have it in the knees.
if you already have it, since that is bone on bone, try to do stuff that is easier on the joint, so swimming, stationary bikes, stuff that's not going to pound, so definitely try to avoid the running, because that's going to make it exacerbated. So definitely swimming, stationary bikes, stationary machines, things that aren't going to put excess stress onto your joints. So low stress, low impact exercises there as well. So great question. Yes, sir.
Let me ask, did I hear you correctly? Should I eat something a short while before I exercise?
Yes, so when dealing with diabetes, we don't want to, if we are fasted. Yes.
Dealing with diabetes.
I mean, in general, yes, it's a good idea to it, but with diabetes, getting into the fasted exercise is something that we do want to talk to our health professionals about, because that can lead us into things of low blood sugar. And I know diabetes, we oftentimes talk about high blood sugar, but that low blood sugar can also be hypoglycemia, that's not the best thing to have either. So,
Yeah, I understand. The reason I'm asking is because I typically get up early in the morning and I walk my dog.
yes.
And after I don't eat.
Mhm.
And after I walk my dog, I hit the gym.
Mhm.
And then once I leave the gym, then I make myself a energy drink.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but I don't eat anything.
Mhm. Now, if that is something that you're sustained to do and your body is used to do, that is okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm just giving, if we're going to just look at broad, I can educate as many people as possible, I'm just shooting it down the middle. But if we're going to talk a specific example, then yes, definitely sustain what is okay with you.
I just want to make sure I'm doing
Yes,
the right thing.
yes. So if that's something that you're used to doing, but if someone is saying, diabetes, I want to start exercising, what should I do, when should I start, when should I eat, this is definitely giving that idea of you want to have something in you. You just don't want to go in there completely fasted, because you can run into. But if you are saying, I get it, if you're saying I want to get up and I want to be a 6 a.m. workout person, right? Sometimes you don't want to get up at 4 o'clock just to get something to eat inside of you, right? So if you are going to do that, starting slow. Starting slow. So if you know that you can run, but you haven't had food and you have diabetes, walk. If you and just starting gearing it back that much. If you know you can do it at a 6 if you 8, scale it back to a 3 until your body gets used to these things. And the body usually takes about 21 days. Body usually works on a 3-week cycle to plateau out for exercise. If we're doing the same thing constantly for 3 weeks, we find that at about 3 weeks, we find that plateau starts to go there. Then we can increase our overall levels. After about when we're programming at about a 3-week to a month time. So understand, I like to use the old saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. Same thing with exercise. If I'm exercising to lose weight, like with personal training. People say, oh yeah, I'm going on vacation next week, I need to use 30 pounds. Sorry, I can't do that for you. Same thing, you didn't gain these 30 pounds in 3 weeks. You're probably not going to lose these 30 pounds in 3 weeks. So let's set realistic examples of what we can and what our bodies are not going to be able to do. But also let's start in the right way. Same way, Rome wasn't built in a day. The pyramids, how long did they take them to build them? Probably a long time, right? But the higher that you build, the larger your foundation needs to be. So you need to set yourself a good base. You need to set yourself a good foundation and a nice strong foundation. You don't want the foundation to be built on, I don't know, sand next to a beach, because it's going to fall apart. You want to build on solid rock so that you can actually build up as high as possible. Yes. Yeah. So definitely. Any questions? Anything else? Anything?
Yes, I see what you did there. That was nice.
I try to bring it back.
Rock was the strong foundation. Question, you talk about eating before exercise, as a general rule. What's the time frame for that? Should it be 30 minutes out, an hour, or what?
So if you really want to have it broke down into the body, we're looking about 2 hours to 90 minutes for the food to fully be processed inside of your body. The body isn't going to process, well, let me say this. If you're eating the right things, we talk about that low glycemic, high glycemic. If we're talking about diabetes, we probably should be avoiding the things that are high on the glycemic index anyway. But if we do have those things, understanding that those things can get broken down and stored inside the body a little bit quicker. But again, we're talking about trying to do it the right way, the healthy way. So if we are going to have a simple breakfast of, we eating eggs, some type of breakfast meat, and a low glycemic starch, that's going to break down in about that 90-minute to 2-hour time frame for us as well. So, and it's always stuff that think about it with food. It's a lot that we can have, a lot that we can eat as well. So don't think that your choices are limited. Sometimes you just may have to think outside of the box with that. Yes, you had a. Yeah. So.
So does that mean someone shouldn't get up and get, does that mean someone shouldn't get up and have a lemon pastry with hot tea before they work out?
That sounds kind of specific there. But again, if we're talking about diabetes, as you can imagine, a lemon pastry, if we're going to rank that on that glycemic index, we're probably really up there. So we do want to avoid those when we're definitely trying to be the best, healthiest options. The lemon tea might be a great option, but again, that's not giving us no calories to actually feel ourselves.
I asked that. Thank you. I asked that because I get that question a lot.
Yeah.
When we talk about the exercise piece, I'm just going to eat a little breakfast pastry. It's no such thing, but just a little breakfast pastry, and if I drink some hot lemon tea or something, it'll cut it in half. I haven't seen it either, but I thought I would put it out there because in the market, when we see that marketing, oh, this breakfast pastry or this fruit pastry, when it's really syrup and a little bit of fruit.
No, you are right. You are 100% right about that. The one thing about a good American breakfast is that it's going to be sweet, buttery, nutritious, probably not nutritious, but definitely delicious. So definitely understanding that what you're eating. That's why I was saying if we're going to have our breakfast, we're going to have some eggs. We're going to have a little protein in there. And we're going to have a low glycemic index carbohydrate as well.
What about egg whites?
Egg whites, low on the glycemic index. If we're talking about the difference between whole eggs and egg whites, with nutrition, I'm sure some of you can remember as you grow throughout the day, there's a time in history when whole eggs are good, then we hear whole eggs are bad. You should only eat the whites. Whole eggs good, whole eggs bad. I believe that up to your medical professionals to understand that when we talk about the whole eggs with the cholesterol levels, if that's something when dealing with your cholesterol, if it is okay for you to have. But for a general population, a whole egg is okay. But again, moderation, we're not saying eat the dozen. Eggs high anyway.
So, do you all have guidelines for the glycemic index that you'll be sharing with us? Because that is always a point of contention.
And that's
A lot
actually
of people don't know what to do.
and that's actually something we are building out for the class. So today we're doing exercise, and Reverend Dominic already stated that through these we are going to have a nutritionist and things like that. I don't want to give away all the fun stuff that we have available for you all, but yes, we do have a nutritionist. Yep.
A nutritionist comes on the 9th, and then we have a healthy food cooking demonstration on the 16th.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I just talked about food today because food and exercise kind of go hand in hand. Notice we talk more about exercise, but it's hard to talk about exercise without talking about the thing that's going to fuel your exercise. It's about buying a car without thinking about you're going to buy gas, right?
Right.
Unless you're getting an electric car, but you still got to plug it up and charge it. You got to get engine to it something, right?
Or you got to buy high-end, or you got to buy car insurance.
Something, yeah.
Because it's not the issue of buying a car, because you can get any car. It's the car insurance.
Yeah.
that will get you.
Car maintenance is so fun today. But definitely great questions, great comments, anything. Feel free. I'm here for you. Like I said, we're having a conversation. So if you don't feel like you want to say it, if you want to pull me to the side after, that is okay as well. But anything else that anyone may have, you see we have that schedule, and to definitely bring that continuous about the nutrition. When that nutritionist comes, definitely shoot them with the nutritionist questions. I'm sure when we talk about food, we all have an opinion one way or another about food and what is good and what is not. Definitely shoot them out. But for exercise, I just want everyone to understand that you can exercise. Age, some people may say, oh, I can't do it because I'm this age. No, you can do it. You just may have to do it a little different. I can't do it because I have this ailment. No, you can do it. You just may have to do it a little different. No, I have this. No, you can still exercise. You just have to figure out how your relationship with exercise is. Yes.
And to go along with what you were saying, if you know you have certain health conditions, it's probably a good idea to consult your primary care physician before you embark on an exercise program.
100%.
Instead of just jumping in there and it's like, well, I'm going to start exercising. What you're doing could cause more harm than good depending upon your own health conditions.
100% agree.
Can you talk a little bit about, and I know this is highly individualized,
Yeah, that's okay.
but just motivation strategies. You know, sometimes people start exercising, then they stop for various reasons. Any tips on how to stay engaged once you get started?
Figuring out, if you're talking personally, figuring out what motivates you. Right. So I know for some people, like I said, when training people, I will figure out, why are you coming into the gym? Do you want to move better? Do you want to look better? Do you want to perform better? That gives me some motivation. But when we're talking personally, it can be, if I do this exercise, I'm going to buy myself this new pair of shoes. You can build in your own reward system for it, yes. It can be, I'm exercising because I'm dealing with diabetes and my diabetes is unregulated and I want to get it back under better control. So I actually need to do this because I want to live a little longer. Sometimes it's just like that. Or it can be, like I say, motivation may look different. Like me, myself, I said, all right, I need to lose a little weight having a child soon. I need to lose a little weight. I want to play with him a little better. And I want to be here for him for my whole life. So why not, let's avoid all the health stuff that can come from a certain lifestyle and diet and move a little better. That's a little bit of personal motivation that I may have. So it's about, it really comes down to thinking about yourself, understanding yourself a little bit. And I know we are in the church, right? We can have religious connection. To say, talking to God, God give you the motivation. We can, that's the thing right there too. So you can find motivations in a lot of different ways, a whole lot of different ways. But the more you look for it, the more answers you'll probably end up finding as well. Yes, ma'am.
How does A1C play into all of this?
So the A1C is what determines the official diagnosis for diabetes. And you don't just go to the doctor and your A1C be a certain level and you got diabetes. No, A1C is something that's looked at. The whole blood is looked at over, 3 times?
So it is a portion of your blood that is taken out. Oh, I'm sorry. It is a portion of your blood that is taken out when they do blood work, and it's called your resting blood, and it's taken over a 3-month period. So every 3 months you would get tested. If at one time you test, let's say above 7.0, one testing doesn't mean you're diabetic. It could be the time of year, it could be holiday. I never recommend anybody get tested after the holidays. Do not do it to yourself. If you have your annual after the holidays, reschedule, because your A1C is most likely going to be high. Doesn't mean that you're diabetic, but it should be taken at least 2 or 3 times over 3 months, after 3 months each time, to know if you are actually diabetic. And unfortunately, once you are diagnosed with diabetes, you are diabetic, regardless of whether your A1C drops down below the range.
So it never changes, like you can't do things to...
You can,
Yeah.
but once you are diagnosed, you are considered diabetic.
Yeah.
And that relates to
I'm gonna answer your question.
insurance purposes. Yeah, like once you're diabetic, you can lower your numbers, but you'll always be labeled as diabetic.
But are you truly diabetic?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
you're diabetic.
That means that your numbers are managed very well. That means that you're managing your diabetes very well. So the range for pre-diabetes is lower than 6.0, below 6 point, depending on which doctor you look at, below 6.5 is pre-diabetes. Between 5.5 and 6.5 is pre-diabetes. 6.5 to 7 and above is diabetic. If you go in one day and you test at 7 but 6 months later, you have exercised, you've changed your eating habits, and it's now down to 6.0, you're still diabetic. On paper, you're still diabetic. It just means that you are managing your numbers really well. That means that you're eating a proper diet, you're exercising, you have lowered your carb intake. A lot of things have come into that, and that means that you are doing well by managing your diabetes. Doesn't mean that you're not diabetic anymore. Just like anyone with high blood pressure. That means that when your blood pressure is down, that means that you're managing your blood pressure really well.
That's back to that insulin that we talked about, really. In the beginning, I talked about a little bit of chemistry of how insulin comes from the pancreas, and it takes blood sugar, it takes the sugar from the blood and brings it into the muscles to be used. Get into that nature as well. So that's why you always are labeled as diabetic, but it's a manageable condition. Understand that diabetes can be managed, and it can be managed extremely well. So I don't think if you got it, oh, this is the word. No, you can manage these things. You can manage your blood pressure. You can manage diabetes. There are not many conditions that you can get that you can never say, all right, I got it, and now that's the end all be all. Diabetes is not one of them. You can manage them well. And that's why we're doing stuff like this. Talk about how to eat, how to exercise, medication management, all these things.
One of the other questions was, what is pre-diabetes? Pre-diabetes means that your A1C is in between 5.5 and 6.5. They won't necessarily give you medicine, but some doctors will. For a precautionary measure, so it doesn't get out of control. There are some people at pre-diabetes where they won't start exercising or start changing their diet to keep their diabetes low or have it increase. So in those cases, some doctors will give you medication to manage you at the pre-diabetes level so you don't go into full diabetes.
So this has been wonderful. Wonderful. Anything. I love the questions. I love how we're going. I love that it's just a free-flowing conversation. And you see, this is our, when we say we work together, this is our whole team. So you can see how we just bounce off each other and work. We learn from working a lot with each other, but definitely, if there's nothing else, I do appreciate each and every one of you for just listening tonight. And I think Reverend Dominic, can you fully close us out?
Sure. Can we applaud that? And thank you for our presentation of tonight on exercise. A few moments ago, we handed out several documents, and one of them is the registration. We're asking if you can complete the registration form, and if you have, can you put it on this table for me? That will help us keep track, and we can follow up. Just put it right here. Wait. Oh, registration. Registration. Thank you so much. Another thing that we will be helping with is, it's not on our schedule, but we'll be having information next week about it. For those who are seeking specialists or primary care physicians, we'll bring a link or share with that how you can do that through LifeBridge Health. In addition to that, we are sharing information about other programs that continue on in diabetes or hypertension awareness. As mentioned before, on the 9th and 16th, we had some of our specialists to come in and talk about nutrition and healthy food cooking demonstration on the 16th. Next week, we're going to talk about communicating well with doctors, and we've learned through our research that that doesn't always happen well when we go to the doctors. For some reason, we see a white coat and we freeze up. And so we want to talk about some tips on how to communicate. I know a lot of times the doctor's visits are shaved down to 15 minutes or less. But remember, we are paying the copay and we pay for the insurance. So you should go in with your agenda of what you want to discuss, because it's your body and your health. And we are looking to confirm for December the 2nd, medication management or pharmacist to come and to talk about that. Because one of the questions we're getting, if I take this medicine, does it interact, not interact, is there some adverse side effects with me taking this? And what happens a lot of times, we don't allow our healthcare professionals to talk about the medicines that they're giving us, because a doctor can only treat you for what you present with or what you share, right? So we want to do that. So again, we want you to complete the registration and do that for us. You have information. My contact information is on the handout that talks about the Connection Program. Any ideas or suggestions, feel free to share with us, because like as I say, this is a pilot program and we want it to be helpful to how we can grow the program and make it a program with a budget at LifeBridge Health, which means it'll live on, right? Yeah. Are there any other questions?
We do have
Yes.
several of the leaders of several ministries here at the Good Shepherd Church of God in Christ, and I'm certain they're planning about, making plans about 2026 and how they can factor in or integrate any sort of healthy initiatives. Any potential partnerships or anything that you'd like to share that we can keep in mind as we plan for the upcoming year?
No, I'm joking.
Read that whole
I'm
Bible.
sorry. She and I have talked on the phone a whole lot for this
Right.
day. Absolutely. One, again, I had to bring the link when you go online to request our services. Our little office of 3, well 4 if you include our director, we cover a lot of areas, and I cover the faith and health, and that means we can help with your ambassadors. Just give an example. Ambassadors or greeters or ushers to recognize when there's an emergency in the house, how to connect with your healthcare ministry, free anytime CPR. It's not certified, but we can teach those basic steps. Like I said, communicating with your doctor. Laughter is the best medicine. We have like a 2-page list of topics that we present on. Exercise, this is our exercise specialist. You've heard Danielle, the diabetes specialist. And so we all have our specialty of what we do, and I will definitely make sure I bring that link, because it's a long link, and you can request. We do health fairs. Oh my gosh, we teach how to do health fairs and how to have effective health fairs and how to have good attendance at your health fairs, because you have to look at the whole piece when you're planning that. You already have a health ministry in place, but we also teach how to have effective health ministries and how to have effective mental health ministries. And we've also taught that with NAMI, the national, that group. And we've also taught, it's so many abbreviations, right? It's a National Alliance for Mental Health Awareness. I said that out of order. And so we do that. What else we do? Of course, hypertension screenings, medication management, which we're going to do, outreach, mental health. Oh yeah, spirituality and faith. What's that? The connect? Oh, at the intersection of faith and health. Yes, that's what we do. Yes, ma'am.
We are, let me back up. I participated in a inclusive faith inclusive practices with a program through Kennedy Krieger and the Maryland Developmental Disabilities. Do you, I'm going to be doing a presentation on Saturday to the leadership of our church in regard to how to make our worship more inclusive for people with
Right.
disabilities. So is that something that you guys have any input in as well?
Well, we have participated in some discussions as of such.
Okay.
But if we don't have it, this team can write it.
Okay, so that might be something that we could also partner with you.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So maybe I'll get your contact information and we can
Yeah.
talk and see how we can maybe make some connections with that.
Yep, because one of the things that, I'm glad you brought that up, one of the things that we tend to do in church, and we don't think about it, is when we tell everybody to stand up.
Everybody can't stand.
There you go. We good for that. And then sometimes we make people feel like they're not worshiping if they can't stand.
Exactly.
And so one of the things that I say on Sunday when we do call to worship, if you're able to stand, please stand with us. So that
Just
makes
very simple,
yep,
basic
makes
things.
everybody feel inclusive.
To be more inclusive.
If you're able to lift your hands, please lift your hands.
So
Yeah.
I will, we'll talk
Absolutely.
a little bit offline.
That sounds good.
Thank you.
Yeah, that sounds good. And so we can, we'll do that. Like I said, the program is evolving. Any suggestions or ideas, let us know. And we can see how we can interweave this for this one or the next one. Oh, and we are considering, Deacon Davis is not here tonight. We are considering how to do this for the junior edition because we have received requests where children under 18 under are dealing with, which is so shocking with the numbers, and not just the entry level or pre. Some are dealing with adult level diabetes, and it's just shocking. And so we are working on to offer that as well. Just got to figure out the best time, for the season. And so that's what we have. Again, I thank you all for coming. Thank you for listening to our information that we have, and we will be sharing information as we go on. We look forward to seeing you next Tuesday here at 6:30-ish. No, 6:30. All right? Thank you so much. You may come.
Wasn't that wonderful? Such good education. I've been in healthcare for 25 years, but I never stop learning. And sometimes you need to be reminded of some things. So we do give God praise for each of you who have taken the time to come out tonight and learn how to live better longer. We say that here often at the Good Shepherd Church of God in Christ. We're going to close out in prayer. I'm going to ask Brother Landry, are you closing your eyes because you don't want me to call your name? As soon as I said, ask for prayer, he said, so what do? We give him the mic. He closed his eyes.
Meditating.
1 second before you begin prayer, I also forgot, if you can, does everyone have a list of their medications?
Yes.
If you can please get that together, because when we do the medication management, we want to be able to talk from your list. You don't have to guess. So if you can just get it and just put it in your things, you'll have it when we have that session on the 2nd. Thank you.
Thank you.
Eternal God, our Father, we thank you for this day. Lord, we thank you for life, health, and strength. We thank you for your grace and mercy. Lord, we thank you for the words that we heard, the presentation that was given tonight. Lord, we thank you for that information, and we ask that you bless us to be able to apply it to our lives each day. Lord, we ask you to bless us as we leave this place, but never from your presence, that we will leave here and return to our destination safely. And all we do, God, we will continue to give you the thanks and praise. It's in Jesus, the Christ's name, I pray. Amen.
Amen.